Are you giving too much? So that's the question for this evening. Welcome to another episode of Kampung Kid Life, where we talk about coconuts, the universe, and everything else in between. And it's 60 minutes of questions that will melt my brain. Good evening, everyone. Let's see who's online. Boy, hi, nice to see you again. Tu Fong, Hin Ngok, Lan Fong, No Do, Doi Bao, Yan Nguyen, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to be here despite something else that you guys could be doing. And let's take a look. Let's take a look at what we have this evening. How do you know? Right? How do you know that you're giving too much? How do you know that you're giving too much? Are you giving too much? So I have two questions. So I always ask. So I'll always answer your questions. I always answer your questions with my standard answer, which is it depends. What does it depend on? So what does it depend on? It depends on what you mean by giving. It depends on what the intention of giving is. And depending on what giving is and the intention of giving, then what is too much or too little? Okay, because the thing is, how do you measure giving? Okay, and I want to distinguish between when we give and when we exchange. Okay, when we give, okay, which is something that I have that now I present to you. Okay, that then it becomes something that you will receive. Okay, so that's a gift, right? That's giving is a gift versus exchanging, which means that I give you something and then you give me something back in return, and then that is an exchange. Okay, so I want to distinguish, I want to separate what giving is and what exchanging is. Now, when we give, when we choose to give, the nature of, okay, whatever that gift is, it is something that I want you to have, whatever that gift is. Then how do you quantify, how do you measure this gift? Okay, I could give you an apple. Okay, I'll give you an apple. If I give you an apple, a fruit, it doesn't matter what the fruit is. I give you an apple, an orange, a pineapple, a grape. It doesn't matter. I give you a fruit. That fruit is that fruit. Okay, how would you measure that fruit? Okay, is that apple too much? That orange too much or too little? How do you measure an apple is an apple? Right. So I don't have, and when we talk about too much or too little, that tends to be a comparison. Right, we compare the value of the gift that we are giving, okay, versus something else. Then we can say that it's too much or too little. But if it's just a gift, okay, I give you an apple. So is that too much or too little? How do you decide? If I give you money, okay, and you're not giving me anything in return, I'm just giving you, it's a gift, right? Then is it too much? I give you $1 US, I give you $10 US, I give you $100 US. How do you decide whether that's too much or too little? Okay, basically I'm giving that to you. Okay, and there's nothing that I'm expecting back in return. Okay, so these are tangible things. I am giving you 60 minutes of my time. Okay, every Thursday I give you 60 minutes of my time. Okay, so is 60 minutes too much or too little? How do you measure that? Somebody could be giving you his or her love. Okay, so your parents give you their love. Okay, it is love is love, right? How do you measure? Okay, there's too much love or there's too little love. So it depends, right? It depends on the intention of that gift. But whatever that intention of that gift is, if there is no expectation for something in return, if it's unconditional, right? I'm not expecting, if I love you, I love you, that's my gift to you. It is not because of something that you do. It is not because of it is not, okay? It is not something because you love me and then I love you back. Okay, so that's an exchange, right? So if I decide to give you a gift, whatever form that gift is, whether it's time, whether it's something that's not tangible, okay, like time, love, compassion, or something that is physical, like the fruit or cash, it is a gift. Okay, and I don't have a concept of too much or too little. Okay, it is whatever I feel that I want to give to you. Okay, so I don't have too much. I don't have an idea of too much or too little. Too much and or too little becomes relevant when I expect something back. I give you a US dollar, okay, then you give me something back in return for that US dollar. Okay, then I can compare. Okay, so the value of my $1 US and you give me whatever that you give me back. I compare the value. Then I might say, okay, so my $1 is too much. I'm paying too much. Okay, I'm giving you too much money. Okay, I'm in exchange for whatever you're giving me back in return. Okay, so giving in that context with the intention to exchange will then create the comparison and value, and then we can talk about too much or too little. Okay, and then we start to measure. Okay, but and then when we start to measure, there are things that we can measure, and then there are things that we cannot. Right? If I give you 60 minutes of my time every Thursday, and you give me 60 minutes of your time every Thursday, so that's an exchange, right? Then how do we measure? How do we measure my 60 minutes and your 60 minutes? Very difficult, right? It's very difficult because then we can start looking at all sorts of other things to measure the 60 minutes. Okay, so what else could I be doing with this 60 minutes? I could take this 60 minutes and do something that will generate me $1 million, let's say. And your 60 minutes, you can do something that will generate you, that will make you lots and lots of friends. Okay, so we can't compare the value of that $1 million versus your lots and lots of friends. But whatever it is, we chose, okay, we chose to be here for me to give you 60 minutes, for you to give me 60 minutes of your time, and then many of you. Okay, so my 60 minutes versus if there are 100 of you, if there are 1,000 of you, if there are 1,000 people, if there are 1,000 people spending 60 minutes versus me spending 60 minutes, then is my 60 minutes more valuable than 1,000 people with their 60 minutes? But once we get into that comparison of too much or too little, then it becomes a very difficult conversation, because then we will start to think, is it worth for me to do all that? And it becomes very complicated. And I don't like complicated. So if my intention is to give you with no, if my intention is to gift something with no expectation of getting something back, then it is a gift. It is a gift. It is not too much. It is not too little. It is my gift. Okay, it is my gift, my 60 minutes to you guys, and you guys deciding to be here. It is your gift. It is your gift. Okay, to ask me all these questions and melt my brain. Okay, it is your gift to be here when you could be doing everything else. Okay, then is this 60 minutes that you're giving too much or too little? Okay, so I don't have, if I'm looking at this from this perspective, a gift is a gift. Okay, a gift does not come with any attachment. A gift does not come with any expectation, and that's why it's called a gift. Okay, it's not an exchange. Okay, and then too much or too little is something that becomes that is not a relevant conversation. Okay, it's not relevant to this conversation of the gift. But at any point in time, we need to decide. Okay, we need to decide what we want to gift. Okay, for me anyway. Okay, what I want to gift, and it's not a matter of too much or too little. It's just what I want to gift. Okay, the too much or too little only becomes relevant when I'm expecting something back, and then that's a different conversation. Okay, and then we can spend a lot of time, okay, talking about the value of my gift versus the value of your gift and how we exchange, and then the world becomes very complex. So what I choose is to, if I choose to give, I don't think about too much or too little. It's just what I choose to gift. If I choose to exchange, then that's a different conversation. Okay, so are you giving too much by being here? It's not a relevant question if it's a gift. How to deal with difficult people? Don't go away, run away. Too much drama. Too much drama. If if I have a choice, okay, then it depends, right? What is difficult? What is considered? What do you consider? Okay, when do you consider someone being difficult? Then is it reasonable? Is that person being difficult reasonable or unreasonable? And whether someone is difficult or not really depends on the context of whatever that's going on. Okay, we have to deal. Okay, and I actually don't like to use the word deal. When we interact, when we connect, when we engage with someone else, okay, when we have a conversation with someone else, right? So we've talked about conversations before. So when we connect, when we have a conversation with people, then an exchange occurs, right? So an exchange occurs, and I think I talked about this. I'm going to use this context in one of my previous live streams. We create an exchange, and inevitably, if two people have very common experiences, and let's say because of the very common experiences that they have, their reality box are very similar. Okay, so it means that it may mean that a lot of their reality and experiences overlap because they're similar to each other, but inevitably there'll be differences as well. And as long as two people come together and engage in a conversation that's in a way that contributes to each other, there's going to be an expansion of that reality box, right? So I talked about this. So when we engage with someone who, the more it is that the other person comes with different experiences, then the more the expansion is going to be, right? So two different people come together, the reality box expands when an exchange occurs, when both are willing to learn from each other. Okay, and it's always an enjoyable process if I come from curiosity and being interested in learning about the other person's reality box, then it becomes a very interesting engagement because at the end of that engagement, both our reality boxes expand. Okay, very nice. Okay, so when do we consider this engagement a difficult engagement? Okay, where we don't contribute, if one or both parties don't contribute to each other, and So the opposite of add is subtract, right? So if you don't contribute, then you take away. If both come together and one or both parties decide that whatever's the other person's experience or reality box is wrong. Okay, that might possibly be a situation where you experience the difficult person, right? It's like, I'm interested to learn about you. We get into a conversation, and then you make me wrong. Okay, you have judgment about me. You disagree with me because you hang on to your perspective without attempting to understand mine. You don't respect my experience. You invalidate me. Okay, so possibly that would be a difficult person. Okay, I'm imagining a difficult person that way, and then it becomes very tiring because then I need to prove myself. I need to validate my experience. I need to do a lot of things to persuade the other person. And why would I want to do that? Yeah, why would I want to continue to engage with someone who is doing that? So if that's the context of a difficult person, then I will disengage. Thank you for the conversation so far. I see some, I see someone I know. I move away. Okay, okay, whatever it looks like. Thank you for the experience. Bye bye. But sometimes, okay, sometimes you might say, but I can't. You can't. You have no choice because this person is in your team. Oh my God. This person is someone that you need to work with. This person is, I don't know, you can't just say goodbye. Then I will minimize the engagement. I'll minimize the engagement. I'll minimize the conversations. I'll create boundaries. I'll create boundaries which I will not allow the other person to cross. Okay, wherever that person is disrespecting me, where the person is challenging me. Okay, and I'm not saying this from a narcissistic point of view where I'm coming from I'm right and you're wrong. So I'm not taking that position, because there are times when I am challenged. Okay, and I might consider someone difficult because I'm being challenged, and then I look at the intention, and then I look at myself, and this challenge, this struggle, this whatever that I'm experiencing may, if I am open, may lead me down a path of growth. Okay, and then I will consider this person a spiritual master. Okay, the person that the universe has sent with a gift, okay, of struggle, of challenge, of an obstacle, and then my approach would be, what is it that I need to learn from this person? Okay, what is it that I need to experience in order to get to the next level of my life? What is the universe gifting to me that is preparing me for the next stage? Okay, so I could take that approach. Okay, if that genuinely I feel is expanding my reality box and giving me growth. Okay, so that could happen, and then I take that from what is this what is this gift that the universe is giving me? Okay, and then the person ceases to be a difficult person. That person becomes my teacher. Okay, who challenges me. Okay, but sometimes there are people who are not like that. That there are people who are just plain unreasonable. They don't make sense, and they make life difficult. Okay, for the sake of making life difficult for whatever reason. Okay, I'm not saying that it is wrong. It is just who they are. Then I have a choice. I have a choice to disengage. I have a choice to create boundaries where I don't allow the other person to cross. Okay, so it depends. So it depends on what that difficult person is creating, what my relationship of difficult is, what I'm seeing as whether it's a gift from the universe or not. So I don't have one answer. I don't have one answer on difficult people. Okay, because on one end it is spiritual master, gift from the universe to teach me something. On the other hand is on the other end is pain in the behind, and I really don't need to deal with this. And then I will disengage. I will create boundaries. I will say thank you. I don't want to interact with you. I don't have conversations with you. I'll minimize my interaction with you, and I'll do what I need to do with you. But that's it. Okay. You stay in your part of the world. I stay in my part of the world, and I have a boundary. So it's arranged. That's how I deal with difficult people. How to not take things personally. It's a choice, right? It's a choice. So I'm thinking, okay, so when something becomes personal, it's because, so I'm just thinking, okay, when something becomes personal for me, then it's because I choose to allow it to become personal, right? And it's all out there. Okay, if you're talking about taking things personally, and you're talking about an external factor, an external influence, an external whatever it is all out there. It is all out there, and if it's thrown at us, the only reason it becomes personal is when we decide that we want to take ownership of that thing. Okay, if it's criticism, if it's and okay, and I'll say personally can okay. So I want to say this also. Okay, so there's no right or wrong, right? So there's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad about whatever it is that comes, and then we can keep it at bay. Okay, so it bounces off, or we can open up and allow it to come in, and then it becomes personal, and it can swing both ways, right? Somebody can say that, wow, that's a beautiful thing that you did, okay, or that's a beautiful, whatever it is a compliment, and you can take it personally, or you don't. Okay, and then there's the positive things, and then there are the negative things, and in the same way, somebody gives you criticism, okay, and you can take it personally, or you can don't. Okay, but if you take away the positive and negative, or positive nature or negative nature, it is the same thing, right? It is the same thing, that is being communicated, that's being gifted to us, okay, that's being thrown at us. And I will also say this, the same thing depending on how we look at it. We can take it as a compliment, or we can take it as an insult. Somebody can come to me and say that, whatever it is that you're doing, Douglas, okay, you look very good for your age. Okay, so somebody can say that, and then I can look at that, and then I can have an interpretation of that. I can think, wow, okay, somebody thinks that I look good, okay, and then it becomes a compliment, and I can take it personally or not. Okay, I can say that, yeah, so it's something yeah, something that I did, and whatever it is, and so I look good. Or I can look at that same statement and say that, what do you mean at my age? so are you saying that I'm old? Are you saying I'm old, and despite me being old, I'm looking good? And I can receive that communication in that way, and I can make it personal. I can make it very extremely personal as well, and say that, you son of a, and get upset. But there's a choice. There's a choice that I make on how I choose to, number one, receive the communication. I choose to receive the whatever it is that's being thrown at me. It is a choice for me to, at whatever level I take it, it is a choice for me to, it is a choice on how I interpret or make meaning of that event, that whatever it is that's happening. And I get to choose. Okay, I get to choose how I want to respond. Okay, I don't get to choose what happens, because whatever happens, happens. I don't get to choose what people will say. I don't get to choose what people will think. I don't choose what happens in the environment. I can't choose, because it's not within my control. But whatever it is that's happening, I get to choose how I want to respond. I get to choose how I receive the information. I get to choose whether I'm going to make this personal or not. And if I get to choose, then my question is, what do I choose to create? What is the outcome that I want to create from this engagement that could potentially become very personal, and there's a consequence, or do I choose otherwise? So there's a choice. How to take things personally or not personally, it's really a choice on how we respond to whatever's happening, okay, to whatever communication, to the environment, to what other people are thinking. And ultimately, nothing is personal. Okay? Ultimately, nothing is personal because it's all out there. The only things that become personal is when we make those things personal. So what do you choose? Be at choice. When we play from a position of choice, when we play from a position of being responsible for our choices, we play from a very, very powerful position, because nobody can get us. Because we choose what we create. And nobody else can do that unless we allow them to do so. Nobody can get us. Okay, nobody can get us unless we allow them to do so. Nobody can open that door unless we open that ourselves. Okay, so what do you choose? How do you tell when someone truly loves you? This is a very loaded question. How do I know when somebody loves me? Okay, if I don't make it very complicated, if I don't make my answer very complicated, how do I make my answer not very complicated? Okay, so what's love? I always I always go back to the definition and the intent. So what is it that I consider love, and what is it that I consider love from someone else? And I think I've talked about different forms of love, right? There's parental love, there's brotherly love, there's friendship love, there's parent-child love, there's erotic love. So there are different forms of love. So which form of love do you want to talk about? Which form of love do you want to talk about? version of love that you want to talk about? Okay, because the answer is going to be different. Brotherly love. Okay, but okay. Anyway, anyway, I will not go there. Two things. It depends on what my interpretation of love is. Okay, what I understand as love for me. And okay, so that the different types of love, right? Which I just talked about. There's also something else that's going on out there, that a framework that someone created about how we. Okay, so there's different forms of love, which I just said, and then the other part is how we receive love. Okay, it's how we receive love. It's just like a gift, right? Each of us have different ways of receiving gifts. Okay, some of us like to be surprised. Some of us don't like to be surprised. Some of us like to be given to us. Some of us like to discover it. So that there are different ways to receive love, and there are different forms of how we receive love. Okay, and this is described by this 5 languages of love. So somebody created. I can't remember who created this, but somebody created this thing called the 5 languages of love, and it describes how each of us receive love. Okay, some of us. I can't remember exactly all the 5. There's gifts of service. Okay, somebody does something for us. Okay, so if I receive love in the form of somebody doing something for me, then I feel loved. Okay, so there's gifts of service. Then there is quality time. If somebody spends time with me, then I receive love that way. I want somebody to spend time with me that I feel loved, and it could be words. Okay, and so when somebody uses words to describe the way, so if the way I receive love is through words and communication, then I need somebody to tell me that, hey, I love you. Okay. It could be also in the form of gifts. Okay, if the way I receive love is through gifts, then when somebody gives me a present, a gift, then I feel loved. Okay, so each of us have got different language of love. Okay, which is how we receive love. And let's say my language of love is quality time. Okay, I feel that someone loves me if I feel that a person loves me if he spends time with me, quality time. Okay, we're not just hanging out, but in the time that we're interacting with each other, we're getting to know each other, we're discovering each other, we're having meaningful conversations and all that. So that's quality time. Okay, it's not just spend time and then watch TV. So I'll feel loved. I'll feel loved if that person spends quality time with me. But if that person doesn't know that my language of love is quality time, and that person gives me gifts, okay, buys things for me, okay, buys whatever it is, okay, buys me clothes, buys me presents, buys me food, because that person thinks that giving gifts is okay, and so to that person, giving gifts is his form of showing love, but it is not my way of receiving love. Okay, so if that person continues to give me gifts, and what I want is quality time, then it doesn't matter how expensive or how many gifts the person gives to me, I am not going to feel loved. I'm not going to feel loved because I don't want a presence. I want time. I want time from that person. And not only time, I want quality time from that person that we can spend together. So we all have, and each of us have got different languages of love, and these 5. Okay, so there are 5 languages of love, and these 5 languages of love are also ranked a certain way. Okay, the way we receive love the most, and versus the ways that we don't feel that we're receiving love. Okay, and you have 2 different people who are giving and receiving love in different ways, and both persons can be might love the other person a lot, but the way the love is being communicated, okay, is not what the receiving person wants, okay, in his language of love. So you never know, right? So in a situation like this, you will never know because you're not receiving love in the way that you feel loved. Okay, but does that mean that the person doesn't love you? It doesn't. Okay, so there are tools. Okay, there are tools. There's awareness. There's knowledge. There's all these things that we need to do to educate ourselves. Okay, to understand the other person and how that person can receive love. Because as much as I love the other person, if my language of love, okay, it's not the person, it's not the way that person will receive love, then it doesn't matter because the person is not going to feel loved. Okay, and without this awareness, without this knowledge, without this, and I'm just saying the language of love is just one way to look at it. There are many other ways. There are many other frameworks. Okay, but inevitably, it is understanding what the other person wants. Okay, it's understanding what the other person wants, acknowledging that the other person is different, and that's something that most of us don't do enough. Not because we don't want to, but because we don't know. Okay, a lot of people on this planet don't know that the other person that we're interacting with has different thoughts, different experiences, different whatever it is, ways of receiving love, information, and all that. Okay, a lot of us don't go around with the awareness that I have a reality box, you have a reality box, and our reality boxes may not be the same. A lot of people go around thinking that, okay, whatever I am experiencing is in my reality box. Whatever's going on for me is also something that's going on for the other person. Okay, and hence there's this golden rule that's been going on for a very long time, and the golden rule states, okay, the golden rule states that do unto others as you want others to do unto you. Right? You do give people what you want people to give to you. That's the golden rule, and that golden rule has been going around for a very long time, and people tell each other that. Okay, but the golden rule is wrong. I seldom say things are wrong, but the golden rule is wrong because what I want people to give to me and to do for me in a way that I want to be done may not be the same thing that somebody else wants. And hence today we have the platinum rule, and the platinum rule states this: do unto others as they want to do, as they want to be done unto them. That means give people what they want, not what you want. And this is a big challenge for a lot of the planet because we don't go around thinking, what do you want and how I can give it to you? Most people go around thinking, what I can give to you based on what I want to get myself. Okay, and that creates a lot of things that don't work. Okay, and then when we narrow down to love, it's the same thing. What does, if we love someone, okay, so if I flip that around, how do you tell if someone truly loves you? Then I will ask the other question, which is, what will you do? What will you do? Okay, what will I do to have that person know that I truly love him or her? Or in whatever form of love, okay, fatherly, brotherly, friend, erotic, or otherwise. It's not, then it stops being about me and it starts being about the other person. Okay, and that's what I would do to demonstrate love, by understanding what the other person wants, so that the other person will feel truly loved, so that the person will know that I love him or her. Okay, so I will look at it from that perspective. And it's a conversation. Okay, it's a conversation because the awareness might not always be there. Okay, and Then I will say start conversations. Start conversations that allow the other person to understand how I receive love. Okay, so I'll start conversations to let the other person understand how I receive love, how it works for me. And here's the other thing: a lot of people expect the other person to be able to read their minds. There is a phrase that a lot of people use: if you love me, you will know. If that person loves me, then the person will know what to do, how to love me, how to whatever it is. And then I'll say bullshit. I'll say bullshit, and I think this is the most toxic thing. This is the most toxic thing to say, because how many of us are mind readers? How many of you can read somebody else's mind? I can't. And the moment we go into, if you love me, you're supposed to know. Okay, how come you don't know? Okay, we are creating I will be creating toxicity in that relationship because I have an expectation that the other person will understand me. Then how about me understanding the other person as well? Okay, so it seems like such a simple question. How do you tell someone truly loves you? Okay, then let the person know. Let the person know what the person needs to do, who the person needs to be. Tell the person what receiving love looks like for you, so that the person will know what to do, and don't make the person guess. Because it's not fair. It's not fair to expect the person to do all the work, okay, to understand what you need when you are not saying it. It's not fair. And then it becomes toxic. Okay, so how do you tell if someone truly loves you? Communicate. Okay, build bridges. Create engagement. Understand each other. Let the other person into your world. Have the other go into the other person's world. Create a shared reality. Okay, and love is not a one-way street, it's a two-way engagement. So it's not just a matter of someone truly love you or not. Okay, it is if that engagement is going to work, okay, then it's got to go both ways. Okay, but of course there are people okay, who want everybody to love them and just enjoy being loved by everybody else. And that's okay. That's okay, but there's also a consequence. Okay, but even then, you need to let the other person know. Okay, if you just want a lot of people to love you and you don't really care about loving anybody back, right? It's okay. It's okay. There's a consequence, but it's okay if that's what you want in your life. And if you want to truly know that everybody loves you and is willing to do whatever it is to demonstrate that love, then let them know how you want to be loved. What does couple friend mean? we are friends. We are very good friends. Okay, we are very good friends. We fight a lot. We fight a lot. By the way, if this question is about whether Chuno and I are a couple, no, we're not. We're not a couple. Chuno is just a very, very good friend. I've known Chunho for 22 years. No, 2000. The year 2000, 22 years, about 22 years. I met Chunho through a dinner party, and we got along, and there were common things that we enjoyed. There was a period of time we went rock climbing together. We went to the gym together, and we had common interests. We were investing in property together, and I guess there was a lot that we had to learn from each other, and that was the foundation of the friendship. Okay, appreciating and experiencing growth, okay, with each other. But after having said that as well, there are a lot of things that Chunho and I are very, 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 very different people, and we fight a lot. Okay, we fight a lot, we disagree a lot, but we don't let these things get in the way of the friendship. Okay, we don't take things personally. Okay, when I am upset with him, when he's upset with me, we just know that there's an upset, and we don't make it personal. It's not about me. It's not about him. It's just about that thing. Okay, and when it's about that thing, we can deal with that thing, and then we can get past that thing. But if we make it personal, then it becomes how come you are doing this to me? Okay, he's not. Okay, it's just about that issue. Or he can go, how come I'm doing that to him? It's nothing personal. Okay, so we understand the things that we need to deal with. We understand the things that we don't agree with. We operate differently. Okay, I am a very strategic big picture person. He likes to have a lot of detail in the things that he does. He likes to do things a certain way. I do things a different way, and we don't impose that on each other. Okay, we don't have here's how to do it, and then here's how you should do it too. Okay, we don't. Okay, and I think the magic about the friendship that we have is that we give each other that space to be ourselves, and then we just have things that we enjoy doing together. Okay, we're in business together. He's my business partner. He's one of my business partners. My other business partner is Simon, and I think we are aligned. Okay, we are aligned in what we want to create, the value that we want to create for the planet. We have common goals. What we say, common brightness of the future in how we want to create value for people, to help them discover their strengths, and we do it because it is meaningful and fulfilling for us. So he's a fellow. So I consider him a fellow adventurer. Okay, a companion on a journey. He's not always nice to me, and I'm not always nice to him. But we don't take okay. So but we know that it's not personal, and we know that it is. In a way, we support each other in our growth. Okay, we support each other in our growth, in the things that we want to do. We have mutual respect, and in that friendship, okay, it works. So so I learned a lot from him, from the things that he's interested in that I'm not. Okay, so my reality box expands in that way, and there are a lot of things that I look at in a way that I look at that he doesn't do, and I think that also expands his reality box, and so there's continued growth. But life is an adventure. Okay, I see life as an adventure, and on this adventure of life, there are people that I want to travel with, okay, and experience the adventure, experience the struggles and the challenges, laugh together, cry together, and everything else in between. And Chunho is one of those fellow adventurers I have on this journey in life. So that's it. Chunho is not my life partner. if you guys are thinking that, Chunho is not my life partner. I must drink water. I don't think they're bad people. Okay. I believe that all human beings are good. I don't believe that they are bad people. There are bad things that people do. It doesn't make them bad people. Okay? There are bad things that people do, but it doesn't make them bad people. So here's where I separate the person from the act. And I think in one of my previous live streams, I may have, or I can't remember, maybe it was in the training that I do. I talk about this thing called integrity. And Money and You, at Money and You, the key thing that we say about success is that integrity is the essence of everything successful, right? You need to have integrity to be successful. And I'm going to talk about integrity a little bit. So we have an understanding, a lot of us have an understanding of the word integrity. I'm not sure how it is in other languages, but in the English language, integrity, there are a few definitions. One of the definitions that is very commonly used in the English language is morally good, okay, being honest, okay, doing the right thing, okay. So that's one of the definitions of being in integrity. The bigger definition of integrity, if we look from an engineering, a holistic point of view, integrity, the definition of integrity is being whole and complete. Okay, when we talk about structures having integrity, we talk about the structure being whole and complete. There are no faults, there are no weaknesses, because it is whole and complete. Okay, and when we talk about structures that are whole and complete, they are very, very strong because there are no faults. Okay, when we talk about a beam, okay, a beam that has integrity, okay, it is very strong because it doesn't have any faults. Okay, but let's say there is a crack, okay, or there's a chip or there's a scratch, whatever it is, that beam, because of that fault, of that thing that's broken about it, becomes significantly weaker. So it's because it's not whole and complete. And at Money and You, we talk about generalized principles, meaning it's a principle that is true in each and every situation, in every case. Okay, so integrity, if it's a generalized principle, if it's true for things, it is also true for humans. And humans need to be in integrity. And what does integrity look like for a human? Okay, in the simplest form. Okay, in the simplest form, we are in integrity when our intention, we have intention, who we are being, what we do, and what we create, the result that we create. So we have who we are, right? That's internal. The action that we take, which is external, and then the outcome that we create. And if this is in alignment, if who I am and the action that I take and the outcome that I create is in alignment, then I am in integrity. Okay, all humans desire to be in integrity. Okay, all humans desire to be in integrity because that is when flow happens. If I have an intention, but I am compelled to do something that is not in alignment with my intention because somebody else told me that, hey, I can't do it this way, I must do it another way. Okay, you know that happens. Okay, if I want to do things, if who I'm being, I do things a certain way. Okay, let's say I am a creative person, and then the things that I do would be might be to create art, for example, or music or whatever it is. Okay, and then I will have an outcome, right? Which is that music, that song, that art piece that I create. So if I do that, I'm in alignment because I'm in integrity. Okay, and things flow. Okay, it's a process that we enjoy, that I can do for a very, very long time. But if I'm a creative person, and because the world tells me that I need to be an engineer, okay, which is not something that I want to do. Okay, but because the world, everybody, my family, everybody tells me that, hey, you know, if you are a creative person, if you're an artist, you're not going to make a living, you learn engineering or whatever, something technical. Then what I am doing, the action that I'm taking, is not in alignment with who I am. I will create an outcome. Okay, we will always create outcomes. Okay, but that's out of alignment. I'm not in integrity, and then life becomes a struggle. Okay, life becomes a struggle because I don't enjoy the thing that I'm doing. It's not who I am, but I'm forced to do it. Okay, that's for a lot of people who don't realize that they have choice. Okay, then they're out of integrity. Okay, And we fight with, then what happens is then we fight with ourselves. And then life becomes a struggle because we're fighting with the person we cannot run away from, which is ourselves. Okay, we are doing that thing we don't want to do, so we create internal struggle. And then something has to change. Either we shift inside or we change the thing we do outside. Okay, and then there are the environments that we live in. So that is very painful struggle. And a lot of people go through this. Okay, but they don't know why. They don't understand how come there's a struggle. They don't understand how come they cannot get away from this struggle, because they don't understand that this struggle is something that they have a choice to get out of. And because they don't know that they have a choice to get out of, it becomes a very messy thing that they feel hopelessness. And there are things that people do. Okay, that then there are things that people do in all this struggle. Okay, without the awareness, without the access to resources, without access to knowledge, without access to a lot of things, everybody, humans will do their best to survive. Okay, all living creatures will do their best to survive, but is surviving good enough? Okay, without access to knowledge, without access to resources, without access to possibilities, if somebody feels very trapped in a small space and doesn't know how to get out, okay, then it becomes survival of the fittest. It becomes win-lose. It becomes fight each other. Okay, it becomes, if I need to live, then I need to do something to ensure my own survival. And as a result of, so there's an outcome, right? And if there's a result of me doing something to ensure my own survival that creates hurt or harm for someone else, then that is perceived as what? Bad to the other person. And then we look at the person who's doing all this, okay, that's a bad person. That's a bad person who's, how come this person is doing bad things? And then we collapse, okay, we collapse the thing and say that, okay, because this person is doing bad things, this person is a bad person. But it is not true. There is the act, there is the person, they are not the same thing. Fundamentally, everyone wants the same thing. Everybody wants to be acknowledged, okay, to be recognized that, hey, I'm here on this planet and I'm significant. I am someone. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be understood. Everyone wants to live a better life. That's what we all want. Okay, everyone, people want to be loved. All of us want to be loved. All of us want to love other people. Okay, but sometimes we don't get that because of the environments that we are in. Again, we don't have access to knowledge, to information, and people don't have access to knowledge, to information, to awareness, who continue to do the things that they need to do just to survive. And then they hurt other people. So is the person bad? Is the person bad? Okay, and I will also say this, that all of us are a product of our programming, of our environment, of what's happening. Okay, and everyone just wants to survive. And that's why I think doing money in you, bringing knowledge to people, creating awareness becomes such an important thing for me. Because at the end of the day, we all have choice, but most of us don't know that we have choice. Okay, all of us are shaped with a set of beliefs, but most people don't know that these beliefs can be changed. Most people don't know that they are in control, that they're in the driver's seat. Okay, and that has to change. And that's why we do this work. So all human beings are good. and there are no bad people in the world. But there are good people doing bad things. Okay, there are good people doing bad things because they don't know that they have a choice to do otherwise. You think the kid who's a gangster wants to be a gangster and be bullied and run from the law and get into trouble all the time? Who wants that? You think the person who's in jail, okay, happily did all the things that he did so that he can be in jail? So good people do bad things. Okay, good people do bad things because they don't know that there is a different possibility. And from where we are, we want to create those possibilities. Because I believe if people are given a choice, if people are given a chance, okay, I believe nobody will do a bad thing. I don't know. How's my passport? I don't know. Okay, I know that I've submitted it. I know I've submitted it. It's being processed. But I think the one thing that we need to know that's happening in the world today, okay, there's a lot of conflict. Okay, there's a lot of conflict. Okay, we're not past COVID yet. We're not past COVID yet. There's still lockdowns happening. There's still wars going on. So that all these things, all this mess that's going on, and the result of all these things going on, all the shutdowns, all the lockdowns, and everything else in between. We look at China, we look at Taiwan, we look at, it's created a lot of problems, side effects on the planet. And one of these side effects is that there is an immense shortage of IC chips. You know, the semiconductor chips that are used to build our devices, our electronic devices. And so there's a shortage. So there's a shortage that's happening. And this shortage is because there's a shortage in supply, because the factories that need to make them can't make them fast enough because of COVID and all the shutdowns and all that, and the raw materials. So there's a lot of mess. Okay, there's a lot of mess with war in Ukraine. And so there's a lot of mess, which is creating all these shortages. And because there are shortages, prices are going up. Okay, fuel prices are going up, food prices are going up, everything else is going up because there is a lot of demand and there's not enough supply. And one of the challenges is the shortage of all these electronic chips. It's a reality. And passports, why am I telling you guys all this, right? And passports, this seemingly innocent book with a lot of paper that's called a passport that allows us to travel around the world, because there is a shortage of a chip that is used in passports. You know, passports, there's this chip inside that allows us to scan, and then we go through all this gantries and all that, okay, because we have all this, that chip that is embedded into our passport that gives us access to all this travel and all that, okay, there's a shortage of that chip. Okay, and because of that shortage in that chip, okay, there are lots and lots and lots of people suddenly, okay, because now travel is opened up, okay, and lots of people who have not renewed their passports, okay, who have not been traveling for 2 years, suddenly now want to travel, and they're all renewing their passports. And then there's a shortage of chips. So that causes a lot of delay. So I know what I can tell you is that I've submitted my passport application to renew. I am waiting. I'm probably on the queue somewhere, and I'm waiting for my passport to get the chip, and then I can get the passport, and then I can do the rest of the things like travel. Okay, so 60 minutes, right? So fast. Thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for all your questions. I hope that in some way, some of this information is meaningful for you guys. I hope that some of my experience is creating value for you. I hope that some of what I am sharing is making sense enough for you to create choice and possibility. Okay, and if any of that has inspired you, please help me to share. Okay, please help me to share. Help me to get more people to like and to subscribe. And I hope in this process as well that I'm planting seeds, dropping stones, that each and every one of you are also going out there, getting your experience, and then translating that to something that works for the planet. Okay, so that's 60 minutes this Thursday. Thank you for being here. Still lots of things that's going on the planet today. A lot of things that we need to work on. In the meantime, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you guys. I'll see you guys, and I'll answer more questions that will melt my brain next week. I'm going to get out.